Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am Mad Capper, and this is another video on Raid Shadow Legends and another in our series of I Built Them So You Don't Have To. Today we're going to talk to you about Juliana. Juliana is a magic affinity attack-based epic champion of Sacred Order whose skills were at one point considered among the best in the game. She was a great early pull that could help you in all areas of the game. However, as we have as a community figured out the clan boss, as well as, of course, the addition of Ultra Nightmare and several other factors, including more champions with better toolkits, she's kind of fallen by the wayside. This is not only true for the clan boss, but it seems to be that she's not used as much at least, anywhere else. But is that proper? Is she actually a better champion than we think? Well, we're going to find out today. So without further ado, let's take a look at Juliana. All right, let's talk about her kit. First of all, I wanted to give a quick shout out. She's one of my favorite looking champions in the game. Despite the fact that she is, or in spite of the fact that she's one of the early champions in this game, she doesn't have that same pop or vibrancy that the new champions do. It's obviously a different model creation or a different style or a different program or something. You can clearly tell. But she's one of the standouts of the old guard. I think her kit looks amazing. She looks like a Knight Templar or a Holy Knight or whatever you want to call the Sacred Order, which is clearly the religious knighthood of Telaria. And I gotta say, it looks amazing. I love the accent of red on the stanch gray or blackish gray and silver and white. It works for me. She looks really cool. And props to whoever was the artist for this, because this is she looks amazing. She's one of my favorite looking champions in the game, bar none. As for her kit, HP 15,360, attack 1398, 881, defense, speed of 103. That's a key point in her kit. Very good speed for an epic champion. Crit rate 15, 60% crit damage. As far as the kit is of itself, her aura is an increased ally crit rate in arena battles by 20%. And we'll talk about that later. And then her A3 has a 5-turn attacks one enemy, removes one random buff from the target, has a 75 bookable to 100% chance of placing an HP burn for 3 turns. Her A2, also on a 5-turn cooldown, places a 30% increased crit rate buff on this champion, then attacks one enemy 2 times, places a 5% poison debuff on the target for 3 turns if the attack is critical. And she also has a Romero combo, which we will talk about in a different video. Oh, surprise, surprise, I will be doing both a Romero and a couples therapy on Romero and Juliana in the future. So stay tuned for that in the coming weeks on the channel. And then her A1 has a attack one enemy 2 times. Each critical hit fills this champion's turn meter by 10%. So next, let's go take a look at how we built her out. So here is my Juliana build, and it is, again, using gear that wasn't already on champions. I'm really trying to get into the point of using these, not my top tier gear. And it's not that we can't. I definitely could put her in my Savage gear that I have, or I have a really good set of Relentless gear and a couple of pieces of good immunity gear, sets of immunity gear. But for me, that's my account, and I think a lot of people that watch these videos are probably half my power, maybe less. They're just looking for a champion that'll work for them, and I think the stats that I give them are a little bit more attainable. Definitely, I can pump her up to 6k or close to 6k attack, maybe 5.5k anyway, and she could hit a lot harder, but that's not going to give you a good, solid idea of what she's going to be able to do for you. So that's why I choose to do that. I think both ways are appropriate. I just feel like this is going to give you, for this series, if it was a showcase, be one thing, but this is just a hey, this is what she can do for you, right? I built her so you don't have to, or maybe you want to. We'll find out. Anyway, she's at 31,782 HP, 4199 attack, 1762 defense, 223 speed, which again, that starting speed makes all the difference in the world, being able to get her up to some good speed for the arena, for for dungeons, that sort of thing. 249 crit damage at 101 crit rate and 280 accuracy. The key stats, debuff resistance is just a coincidental 122. And as far as her masteries go, if I were using her in the clan boss, but we're not going to do a clan boss on her. We'll talk about that at the end. But you see I have Helm Smasher on her. Then the key points here is I wanted to get accuracy, and then I want this Master Hexer to extend her debuffs by 1 turn. She's got a 3-turn poison. It's only 1. So be able to get that to 4 turns 30% of the time is a great help, as well as her HP burn to 4 turns. Those are both really, really good pieces of that are good to extend. So I really want to make sure I got that. And of course, Helm Smasher, giving her that 50% chance of ignoring 25% defense. as well as this is one of my favorite, Ruthless Ambush, which gives an extra 8% the first hit on each enemy. And it doesn't say first hit with default skill, so that means you hit her with your hardest A3 or whatever their biggest skill is, you get another 8%. That's a great piece. And then we just went down the damage alley here and went down that left side. All right, at this point, we'll take her into the ice golem. We'll show you kind of the damage based on her peers, and then we will take her through a dungeon run, and then finally we'll take her to the arena and see what she can do there. So as always, we're going to start in the ice golem and do a little bit of a damage testing. We're bringing some of our usual suspects in with her, and that is our Phoenix, our Durang, and our Rotos. Of course, Venus there to debuff, and we're going to see what kind of damage we can have her do in comparison to them. Remember, this is not an apples to apples clinical trial of 100 runs and seeing exact norms and plotting them. This is just a general indicator to show you what kind of damage she can do in comparison. And first we'll start with the A3s here. She's going to hit, and boom, she's hit for 71. Yeah, okay. And now it's Phoenix. Phoenix hits for 79. So pretty comparable, I would say, on the A3s. She puts out a burn. He does put the slow, but yeah, not a bad option. We're going to have to do over here his one. He's got a multi, so it looks like we hit for about 60-some thousand. And then we'll do an A3. We'll do here. They're very similar defensively. Boom, 101,000. So let's leave the battle and take a look at the numbers here. Obviously, Durang 78,000, 72,000 for Rotos, 71 for Juliana, and Phoenix actually hit for the highest amount. Now, Rotos obviously hit harder. He hit 100,000, but he killed. And same with Phoenix. He actually hit for, I believe it was 78,000. So comparable amongst the three epics, I would say. And let's now try their A2s. All right, so we have the A3 here, or sorry, we have the A2 this time. And there she goes, 47, 46, pretty good. Obviously not going to quite be the same as this. We got some AoE damage there. His A2, which is a double hit, 40, 39, pretty good. And then his A2 we'll use over here. And as always, 117, well pacing the rest of them. And you see, she did 94. Looks like she did get a couple of good procs. I think Durang and her are fairly similar in damage, so I think she just got the Helm Smasher procs there. Obviously, Rotos killed 112,000, and then Phoenix obviously is an AoE, so it's really apples to oranges here, but hey, it's part of his kit. So next, let's do finally the A1s and see what we can get here. Here we go. 36. Okay, so obviously 36 and 27. You can see where the Helm Smasher is proccing there. And we'll do Phoenix next. Boom, boom. Almost kills. Like 110. It's not even in the same hemisphere. Not even in the same hemisphere. Boom, 57 there. Pretty good. So let's see what those damages are. I mean, this is where not only is the A2 so much bigger, but Phoenix hit for 115,000 on his A1, which also will block revive. Like that's 65, 3, 41, 57. So she didn't hit bad. She got a good proc there. I think she's hitting similar to probably Rotos if you were to include total damage, and she didn't proc Helm Smasher, that sort of thing. But yeah, Phoenix just much better. Okay, so let's put her through this dungeon now, just to kind of give you an idea of what she's going to do in dungeons. We will take out a couple of these. We'll keep these two in. They're always good to have. And what we'll do is we'll bring some survivability. We'll do this. Oh, I don't need the crit rate on these guys, actually, so let's do this. All right, so let's see what she can do for damage in this and what kind of run we're going to get. The biggest thing about her is because she's a single target, she's not going to be doing the bulk of the wave damage, but she's going to be really good on the boss because she's got poisons and the HP burn, and potentially that could be a game changer, especially if she can land that HP burn on the boss to help take out some of the ads. How fast this team's going to be is probably more about Phoenix than her, but you know, nonetheless, she is going to be able to help out. See, taking out champions is just one at a time because she's not AoE. As for the rest of the team, we bring in Blind Seer for some survivability. She's got a revive, she's got a block debuffs, and of course she's got a huge shield that she can put up, which is really going to help on this wave especially. Now that was actually the best possible scenario. Phoenix got the 5-man block buffs, so when those duggies go, they ain't putting up any reflect damage, which is always nice if they get a chance to go, of course. There you can see where Blind Seer is coming into play. And there, boom. Okay, great. You can do some damage, but blocked on the... so we're not going to be killing ourselves, but we're still at a minute 12. Not a great... my normal runs are about a minute, so we're already well past that scenario. Nonetheless, I mean, whatever. Again, she's on a single target. She's doing well. She's hitting for strong numbers with all of her abilities. They're not the strongest, but they're not awful either. What I don't see is what her A1 is really doing for us other than damage. And that crit rate again, like what's the point of that crit rate? I don't understand. Okay, our hope is that Phoenix gets to kill. Nope. No, she's gonna be greedy. Oh, and he almost, like a sliver away. So we're already at 2 minutes. So she did really good damage against the boss, though. Those hits were pretty strong. And that's why we bring in Lydia. Gives us an extra round without the ads. Our perfect scenario would be she gets HP burn now before. Right there. Nope. No HP burn. And he's probably going to hit back now. That's too bad. It was too late. Really needed to get that ability up before. Just bad rotation. And of course, it's on a 5-turn cooldown. So it could be forever until we see it. So that's an unfortunate happenstance. We're starting to get a lot of poisons on the boss, though. That's always a good thing here. There's the HP burn. Unfortunately, he ain't going to live to see that long enough. Because there's the block revive. God, we can hope that he's got everything on cooldown. Come on, Phoenix. Nope. Of course not. Because his cooldowns aren't ridiculous. Why is it we hate Ice Golem? Oh, that's why. So, yeah, overall, I mean, she did really good damage. She actually almost hit the same damage as Phoenix. Mainly because of her poison ability on the boss. She's hitting really good with all of her abilities, too. So, you know, even though Phoenix gets off to that early lead because he's using the AoEs on the waves, she is helping overall, I would say. But 3-minute time, my best time is 46 seconds. You can tell that it's just not. She's not making it game changing. That's kind of the best way I can put it. Is it's just not. She's adding to damage, but she's not adding to the run. So why don't we take her into the arena now? Hopefully we can find. I'm going to try to manufacture the scenario where I think she will be useful in the arena. And this might be an area where you can use her. Now, this is highly dependent on getting a reasonable team to fight against here. Okay, so here's a probable scenario. Let's do this, though. Yeah. So we've got a case where we know we're probably going to be faster. And because we're probably going to be faster, we're going to get to go. But we're worried about the weak affinity here. And this could have been Duchess. This could be Lysandra. It's just anyone that you're worried about killing. We can use her to help take care of that. And that's actually good. We're not going to let you go. Apparently she gets to go anyway. And then, boom, we can use a hit here. And then we'll be able to hopefully get rid of him. There we go. So her ability to attack and kill the weak affinity is probably the only area in the arena that I really see a use for her. Including this here. Like I might die anyway. We're going to just try to give ourselves some survivability here. See? That's called big brain thinking. Damage mitigation. So there's it was pretty sloppy scenario, but I'm just trying to find. The problem is, and this is the problem, she's a single target. So what she would be good for is if you need to neutralize a spirit affinity, because your AoE nuker can't necessarily kill them, or because you just need that extra damage. She's not the best champion to use. I would probably bring in Rotos if I needed that. But if you don't have Rotos, Juliana is any single target nuker of Magic Affinity is going to help you with that. And I think that's probably the problem with her in the arena. We've gone through a couple of fights here. I've gone through a couple of fights here. I'm just, like, she didn't live there. You know, we can keep bringing her into these fights, but she's just not a good champion for the arena. She can hit hard, and that's nice. But what is she bringing to the actual table here? And the answer really is nothing. We're either killing outright, or if we left one alive. Here's the scenario I can see: if you have Candrafon as your nuker, and you have Duchess on their team, she's Magic Affinity. Therefore, she would be able to hit Duchess strong attack, and then Candrafon can take care of the rest. But that has to take care of the scenario very specifically. It can only be one Spirit Affinity champion, because if there's multiple, she only hits one target, and you have run the risk of her leaving several champions alive, or at least one champion alive, and that's kind of against the very purpose. The other problem I see in the arena is that she's Magic Affinity. That you just bring in your starter if that's what you're trying to do. Elaine can do better than Juliana at this particular scenario where she's kind of the backup nuking. Elaine's got AoE, she's got a single target, she's got multi-hit, she's got everything you need to help out in the arena that Juliana doesn't. So I just don't find her to be useful very much in the arena. We've done a couple scenarios here. I ran through more. I actually took more fights than just these two, but unfortunately my audio was messed up. I don't know. So, well, both my audio was messed up, and then then my frame rate was dropping. I was just having a great time today filming. Anyway, long story short, probably not a big arena champion. My final thoughts on Juliana are a bit tough. I don't think she's very useful in the game anymore. Don't get me wrong. She is a strong champion in the early game. If you pull her early enough, she will definitely help you progress within this game. She can hold her own in early arena, early dungeons, and of course in the clan boss. But in each and every one of those scenarios, you're going to want to replace her, and probably replace her sooner rather than later. For example, in the arena, she can come in there, but she's not going to be as good possibly as your starting champion, let alone the rest in the arena. So as soon as you get some sort of AoE or some crowd control, you're going to remove her, keep your starting champion. And then when you get one of the top tier nukers, then you put one of them in the end. You know, you're trying to eat those Candrafon, those sort of champions. And she kind of is left by the wayside. Same for clan boss. Early game, great. But as soon as you get some kind of speed tune or need for a speed tune, you know, you get a Tyrell, you get any sort of defense down aura, or AoE, sorry, then she actually can ruin it by having the turn meter boost, and therefore she'll outrun potentially the defense down or the defense down weekend or whatever you have. And so the clan boss, she's useless. And in dungeons, no single target outside of a rare few are very good in the dungeon. Even some of the best single target nukers in the game aren't typically used in dungeons because you're talking about speed runs. So early game, yeah, she's another damage dealer. You put the resources in, she's going to help you out. But if you build her, you have to build her knowing that at some point you're going to replace her everywhere, and she's going to be a vault dweller at some point into your mid game, early into mid game. So as long as you have that as your mindset in the early game, she can be very, very strong for you. As for how I would change her so that she doesn't lose that effectiveness in the game, is there's a 4 areas that I think. First of all, just sidebar, this aura is dumb. Crit rate in arena is not an aura I've ever seen used or ever would want to use. I could probably envision some kind of mythical world where you put together a defense team with only 80% crit rate so you can use an aura like this. But honestly, I would just make them 100% crit rate and then use a defense aura, or use a resistance or an accuracy, or any aura but this one. It's just not a very strong arena aura. I'd move it to Faction Wars, because I think Faction Wars is a viable scenario where you're building out these champions that you may not be using in the game, but you have to use daily or at least weekly for your Faction Wars. When this crypt opens, you can put her as your lead, and then you have the other champions surrounding her, and you can build them to 80% as well as her to make all the team a little bit stronger in the other statistical areas. So yeah, Faction Wars is the only place I'd like to see this, so change it there. This is good except for it's 5 turns. 5 turns is ridiculous. What possible? This is not so big a deal that it needs to be 5 turns. This needs to be 3 turns. Take 7 and 8, move it up, and add -1, and we're happy and good to go. This here just needs to be 3 turns. Like, let's not mess around. Make it 3 turns. Come on. And ally increase crit rate? No. It's a 5 turn. Even if you make it a 3 turn cooldown, you're not going to build her out for 70% crit rate and then hope she gets this and hope no one strips it. And then it will just only last for part of the fight anyway. It's not a good... Increased crit rate as a ability, unless it's on an equal cooldown as the how many turns it lasts, like a 2-2 or a 3-3, it's not very good. I don't like it. In general, I don't think anyone would build out with that. She needs to have 100% crit rate in order to do damage, so you cannot rely on this. I would get rid of the crit rate. I would add a second poison, so 3 turn with 2 poisons. And this change the fills the turn meter to reduces the enemy turn meter. This will be helpful in areas such as Fire Knight, where although she's weak affinity, she would definitely be helpful in the early game, but it wouldn't ruin her for clan boss. So now you've got 2 3-turn abilities, and you've got this with the turn meter reduction that doesn't ruin her against clan boss, and therefore she'd be usable longer until you really set into your best, your occult brawler, your Dracomorph, your kind of next level champions for this position. But then she would be useful into the mid game because she'd be absolutely survivable with that kit in the clan boss. It should be a good scenario, even though you kind of stop using her in the dungeons, you stop using her in the arena. She's in the clan boss and she'd be usable until you get one of those smaller subset of champions that would just be better than her. Those are my thoughts. What do you think? Am I on base, off base? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, be mindful and stay tuned. Tomorrow I will be giving away 540 gems times for five lucky viewers. We will be doing 2 via tomorrow's video, and we will be doing 3 live in the Twitch stream. We will pull all shards tomorrow. Well, actually, we'll pull all shards live. The YouTube video won't be tomorrow. I'll give you guys a week to comment, but that'll be tomorrow's video. So hold on to that. Hope to see you soon. But in the meantime, please be kind to one another. Stay safe. Practice social distancing for just a little while longer, everybody. And I'll see you in the next video.